In central and southern Taiwan, green iguanas have become such a problem that officials are offering rewards for locals to kill them. In tonight's Sunday Special Report, we put the spotlight on a non-native species that was first introduced as an exotic pet and has since become a nuisance with a cash bounty over its head.
This town where adzuki beans are grown is Pingtung County's Wandan Township. We are joined by National Pingtung University of Science and Technology researcher, Associate Professor Chen Tien-hsi, who has brought us here to look in the irrigation channels. Chen tells us to keep our eyes sharp and to be light on our feet.
那个还跟我讲，那有3只啊，你们先不要靠太近了，你们靠过去，你们在后面就好了。
Seemingly agitated by our footsteps, we notice iguanas that appear to be alert to our presence. In a flash, one of them disappears through a hole in a stone wall. With the others still appearing agitated, Chen slows down his pace and approaches quietly.
你只要靠过去，一只都不用抓了。
Moments later, only one iguana is remaining on the wall, and it looks ready to run off. After it is caught, the last remaining iguana stares sharply at its surroundings. It looks ready to attack, as if simply waiting for the right opportunity.
因为它们最主要是变温的。
Mostly when there is a change in the temperature, especially in the winter, early in the morning before the sun comes up, they will wait for the temperature to warm up before they will come out.
When their nest has been disturbed, iguanas will be on high alert. We decide to move on and continue our hunt elsewhere.
你看那里就一只啊。我说你眼睛很利。我懂我的恐怖，它肚子不是鼓鼓的。 里面就是有蛋了，快要繁殖了。因为大概
Its belly is bulging. Inside, it's filled with eggs. They will be laid soon. In the south, roughly from the end of February until the end of April, the start of May is a spawning season. The larger the iguana, the more eggs it will lay. The smaller ones will lay about 20-odd eggs, and the larger ones will lay 70 to 80 eggs.
它现在都不会挣扎。
它只要
Our adversary all morning has been this creature, the green iguana, a species native to South America.
鬣蜥它原产地是在从墨西哥南边哈，一直到南美。
The green iguana is indigenous to areas from southern Mexico all the way down to Argentina and northern Brazil. Basically, it belongs to the tropics. It is a tropical animal. How did it end up in Taiwan? Well, in the international pet market, it is one of the most widely sold reptiles. There are millions of them sold annually.
In 2001, Taiwan began allowing the import of the green iguana, which led to a surge in their popularity among Taiwanese pet owners. The delicate appearance of baby iguanas captures hearts. However, in adulthood, they can grow as large as 2 meters.
They continuously grow until they become adults. When their bodies are fully developed, sometimes pet owners feel they aren't cute anymore or they just don't like them anymore. They may end up just releasing them into the wild.
Green iguanas primarily live in the plains where they don't have any natural predators. When they get released in the wild, they breed very quickly. Their numbers multiply at lightning speed.
Much of central and southern Taiwan is open country, most of it farmland. Since there are so many crops, there is plenty of food for the iguanas. Add to this the fact that these animals are out in the wild with no natural predators. They end up breeding very quickly.
In the countryside, there's now a large feral population of green iguanas. Pingtung, Kaohsiung, and Jiayi are where most of them are found, and some can be spotted in Hualien and Taidong. They have been a disaster for farmers. Iguanas are herbivores, and they mostly eat vegetables and fruit. They feast on farmers' fields as if digging into a buffet.
Take a look at the peanuts. As you can see, this side here hasn't been eaten by them. When they show up, they come out of the irrigation channel over there. When they climb out of the channel, they start to eat. But when people show up, they get scared off. So that side there was eaten by them, and I replanted it. The difference between where they fed and where they didn't feed is right there.
A green iguana will survey the terrain to look for food and will then gorge itself once it finds what it's looking for. At their wits' end, farmers have no option but to seek assistance from the county government, hoping that someone with expertise can remove the iguanas from the land.
They've scattered now. Normally what we do in this situation is we keep searching for them. When animals scatter, they won't always come out of hiding. That's the biggest challenge when you're trying to get rid of them.
The green iguana invasion is most serious in central and southern Taiwan. 2 years ago, Pingtung County caught more than 4,000 of the animals. Last year, it caught nearly 8,000, the most anywhere in the country.
In fact, last year the Council of Agriculture declared the green iguana an ecologically and environmentally destructive invasive species. Therefore, anyone who, since before November 30th last year, has been keeping a green iguana as a pet must register it with the government. So far, the total number of registrants has only reached just over 40. Between the number of pet iguanas out there and the number registered, there is still quite a gap.
To get the wild iguana population under control, the Pingtung County government has encouraged the public to help catch them. Some local governments have offered cash for captured iguanas, but the rewards don't always have their intended effect.
Over the past few years, other counties and municipalities have offered rewards to deal with this situation, but the results haven't been good. There have even been people breeding and raising iguanas and bringing those to the government for a reward. Under such circumstances, it is impossible to bring their numbers down. So instead, we are offering local agricultural products as an incentive for people who capture iguanas. We are exchanging agricultural products for iguanas. Offering this reward has had the added benefit of supporting farmers' incomes.
Manually capturing iguanas is slow and tedious work, whereas green iguanas reproduce quickly in the wild. Local officials are still on the search for a more effective way to deal with the iguana population.
We hired academics to come look at the issue and to see if there is a better method. At the moment, our plan is more or less just to use manual labor. If we use some type of chemical solution, there are concerns about environmental pollution. This is one thing we have to consider.
To catch wild iguanas, some people use slingshots and others use bow and arrows. Others catch the iguanas and tie them up, throwing them in a pile. Experts urge against causing the iguanas undue suffering.
呼吸是要靠那个什么，它的气管开口是在它舌头后面，那它的开口。
To breathe, it relies on the opening of its respiratory tract, which is located behind its tongue. The closure of that air pathway, along with the movement of its chin, is connected to bones in its tongue. When you tie it up with rubber bands, you are constraining those tongue bones, making it very difficult for the iguana to breathe. If you need to constrain it for a short time, that's no problem. But if you constrain it for too long, that is basically a form of abuse.
The green iguana has thrived in Taiwan as well as it does in its native environment. However, the problems it causes for Taiwan's environment and its farmers serve as an important reminder of the fragility of the nation's ecosystem and the threat presented by invasive species.